Hello, everybody. My name is Rose, and I'm a licensed and certified emergency medical technician for almost 3 years now here in California. And back in February of 2020, I went down to Travis Air Force Base where they had many individuals quarantined due to COVID and they had come from cruise ships. And I got to be part of on the front lines of the pandemic and help transport some of the first COVID patients here in California. Now, for all of us, the whole world, America, we have all been fighting this pandemic for 2 years. And likewise, in the 20th century, Europe was fighting a disease called smallpox. And this disease had a horrible mortality rate of 20%. It was a devastating disease, especially in children. Here we have a little visual aid. Here we have our very well known coronavirus. And down here we have the smallpox. So you can take a look and kind of see the differences in the virus components. But something they do both have in common is they both often attach and attack to the respiratory tract in humans, and they are both airborne illnesses. So just there's a look there. However, by 1980, the World Health Assembly, they were able to announce that smallpox had been eradicated due to a vaccine. So what happened? How did we get there? We are going to talk about Edward Jenner. And Edward Jenner, an amazing doctor, he did a risky inoculation experiment to immune against cowpox that helped make great strides so that we could officially say smallpox had been eradicated. Jenner's lowly beginnings prepared him to do great things. He did a very crazy, risky experiment with a young boy, but found out that all those things help weed the way to eradicate smallpox. So let's talk about first, what did Jenner's life look like? And from the world of microbiology, he had very lowly beginnings. He was born in Berkeley, England in 1949, and sadly at the age of 5, he was orphaned and raised by one of his siblings. But at age 13, he had an amazing apprenticeship with a surgeon named John Hunter. Now, John Hunter wasn't just any surgeon, because he challenged Jenner to have an inquisitive mind in medicine. And by 1972, Jenner had started his own medical county doctor there in England. So what did Jenner do that was so radical and so impactful on smallpox at this time, as it had taken so many lives? Jenner realized something. A common disease, cowpox, that many of the cows had would get spread to milkmaids. And he noticed that these milkmaids who had contracted cowpox, for some reason, they were not getting smallpox or did not get it as bad. So my resources were the World of Microbiology and Immunology, and then an academic microbiology textbook. And this is where we hear the story of his crazy experiment, where he took pus from a person who had cowpox, inoculated a small child with that. The child got sick with the cowpox, recovered, and then he took the pus from smallpox and then inoculated the child with that. However, the child did not get smallpox after getting and recovering from cowpox. And this was amazing. How did this happen? Somehow the cowpox had built immunity against the smallpox. So this was a huge thing, a huge deal for this time. So what did his work do? His work eventually led to the point that we could eradicate smallpox altogether due to vaccination and building immunity against smallpox. So since it was such a deadly disease, a vaccine against it that's now known is known as one of the most successful ones ever. And that is from the history of smallpox. According to the CDC, the last 2 cases of smallpox were in Asia. But finally, on May 8th, 1980, the World Health Assembly announced that smallpox had been eradicated thanks to the use of vaccination. So in conclusion today, everyone, we've learned that Edward Jenner's risky inoculation experiment to immune against smallpox made great strides to eradicate cowpox. Yes, it made great strides to eradicate against smallpox due to a vaccine and the ability for our bodies to build immunity. We've learned that although Jenner had lowly beginnings and had a hard start, but with a great apprenticeship and a wonderful ingenuity of a mind that thought about medicine in unique ways and did a crazy experiment inoculating a neighbor child, we found out that immunity could be possible. Many nations have times of pandemics and epidemics, and what we need even now is more amazing, brilliant minds like Turner's. Thank you so much.